Part 3. How to Heal from Loneliness. Healing happens when the nervous system finally learns that connection is safe again. Most people try to heal loneliness by simply surrounding themselves with more people. Psychology suggests the problem is often deeper than physical isolation, because loneliness is not always the absence of company. It is the absence of emotional safety and meaningful connection. This is why some people remain lonely even inside relationships, friendships, or crowded environments. Healing loneliness requires more than social contact. It requires rebuilding trust and connection itself. Psychologists studying loneliness have found that chronically lonely individuals often become emotionally hypervigilant. The mind begins expecting rejection, disinterest, or emotional distance before connection even happens. And eventually, isolation becomes a form of self-protection. The person avoids vulnerability to avoid emotional pain, but avoidance strengthens loneliness psychologically. The brain learns distance keeps me safe, and over time, emotional withdrawal becomes automatic. This is why one of the first steps in healing loneliness is reducing emotional avoidance slowly, not forcing extreme social interaction, not suddenly becoming outgoing, but allowing small, consistent moments of safe connection, a short conversation, a repeated social routine, a genuine interaction. Psychologists have found that the nervous system trusts consistency more than intensity. Small, repeated experiences of emotional safety slowly retrain the brain. Healing also requires emotional honesty. Many lonely people spend years hiding parts of themselves to avoid judgment or rejection. But connection becomes impossible when the authentic self never appears. Carl Jung once wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Real connection begins when people slowly stop performing survival versions of themselves and start allowing emotional visibility, even gradually. Another important step is reducing overstimulation. Modern psychology increasingly recognizes that constant digital stimulation, endless scrolling, and social comparison increase emotional exhaustion and feelings of isolation. The brain receives endless social information, but very little genuine emotional connection. This leaves many people psychologically overstimulated, yet emotionally disconnected. Healing loneliness also requires nervous system regulation. Sleep deprivation, chronic stress, emotional burnout, and constant anxiety all increase emotional sensitivity. An exhausted nervous system interprets the world more negatively. This is why mental recovery matters psychologically. Sleep, movement, silence, deep breathing, time away from constant stimulation. These are not simplistic self-help ideas. Research has shown that slow breathing and physical regulation can reduce activation in stress systems inside the body. In simple terms, the body can teach the mind safety again. And perhaps the most important psychological truth about loneliness is this: healing does not begin when a person suddenly becomes surrounded by others. It begins when the mind slowly stops expecting emotional danger from connection itself. Because lonely people are not always disconnected from others. Sometimes they are disconnected from the feeling of emotional safety. And once the nervous system begins learning that connection is survivable, loneliness slowly begins losing its power.